Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome back. I want to start off by giving you a little bit of a rundown or a overview of what's going to happen. We have 2 weeks left. So we've got this full week and then we've got next week and then that's it. So May 15th is going to be Friday, May 15th will be the last day of new material. Okay, you will get nothing new from that point on. On the 18th, which is an awesome day because it's my birthday, on the 18th will be on the 18th will be and May 18th and 19th will be kind of a catch-up day for anyone who's missing assignments or who needs some extra time to work on stuff or whatever. May 19th, 18th, and 19th is going to be kind of that time to catch up on stuff. The 20th then will be the final day of stuff. It is possible that you will get some material on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, like just a teacher survey or whatever, something, just a farewell video from me or whatever. But you will get no new math material from past the 15th. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. So 2 weeks of solid material. We do have things to do and keep up, finishing up. So please make sure you stay with me here. Also, please make sure you're catching up on the homework. Some of you are kind of falling behind on that. I'm going to send some emails out very, very soon to students and parents. So if you don't want to get an email, make sure you take care of that. Cool. Also, before I forget, I do want to wish a happy birthday to both Riley and Jacob Heaton. Riley and Jacob Heaton's birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday to you guys. Again, I'm not going to sing to you because you don't want that. You want to actually stay happy and have a good week, and my singing is just not that great, so don't worry about that. Okay, for today, hopefully you watch the video of the week or you will watch the video of the week after. It is awesome. It is okay go, and it's a really fun video. It's really cool. Now, I did include 2 separate how they did it videos. Again, if you do all that stuff, that's about 15, 20 minutes. That does not count towards my half an hour. None of it does. That's just for fun. That's just if you want to watch it later. But it shows how they did the video, which is not one take. It looks like one take, but they kind of cheated and did some other parts. But it looks like one take. And then they have a video on parabolas, which is really cool that they actually used a parabola, which we've talked about in the video. And it was necessary to do the things they did, which was really cool. All right. So if you haven't, when you're done and you've done your homework, watch the video, but just don't count it towards my time. Got it? Okay. You will need a calculator for today and a pencil. The worksheet is the homework, and again, you can print it out or you can just do it off the screen. All right, so let's get started with today's lesson. You will need a calculator as we're doing it. Pythagorean theorem. Today is what we're focusing on, that Pythagorean theorem and the hypotenuse and all those fun words. When we did lesson 921 earlier on this last week, one of the things we learned was that, and this is really important, if the sum of 3 squares have sides that make a right triangle, then the sum of the areas of the 2 small squares equals the area of the largest square. And you hear that and you're like, what on earth? Well, remember, if we make a triangle, so a right triangle, that's a horrible right triangle, but work with me here. The area of the squares of the legs, okay, the sum of the area of the squares of the legs is going to be equal to the area of the square of the largest side. Does that make sense? That's what we learned. We did that when we did the chart. You take the area of this square plus the area of this square, you should get the area of this square if you get a right triangle, right? Hopefully you remember that. You should remember that, okay? If not, write it down. If you don't have it, write it down. Pause the video. Write that down on your paper. You need it. Cool? Pause it. Write it. I'm watching. No, I'm not really. That would be really weird. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Pythagorean theorem. So here it is. And again, do write Pythagorean theorem down. It's good to learn how to write it. You do need to know that. But the Pythagorean theorem, a theorem is a statement that says that connects the legs of a right triangle to the length of the hypotenuse. Now, here's some. I'm gonna jump to this first, right down here. So forget this. I want to focus on this down here. So legs and hypotenuse. What are the legs? The legs are always on a right triangle. The legs are always the two shortest sides of a triangle. They are always adjacent to or touching the right angle. Okay? Note that the legs on a right triangle are always shorter than the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse, and draw this triangle out, guys. You are going to use this so much. Draw that triangle out. Please label the legs. It doesn't matter if this one's leg 1 or if this one's leg 1 and this one's leg 2. It doesn't matter which one's the legs. The legs are the two shorter sides. The hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle, and it is always opposite the right angle. So once you find the right angle, the side opposite that will always be the hypotenuse, and it'll always be the longest sides. The two shorter sides are called legs. Cool? All right. Now, what we learned then is what we just looked back here. The sum of the area of the two small squares equals the area of the largest square. Well, the Pythagorean theorem says that. Hey, if you take the leg 1, the length of leg 1, and square it, make a square. Take the length of leg 2 and square it. And of course, I don't have room here because that's a rectangle. That's ugly. Don't bite. Don't go for that. And square it. You get the square. And you add those up. It equals the hypotenuse, another beautiful square, squared. So the area of this square plus the area of this square gives you the area of this square. Now, the cool thing about it, all of that can be summarized with this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, where the legs are A and B, and the hypotenuse is C. So if you know A, the length of leg A, you square it, plus you know B, you square it, and you add those up, you should get C squared. Cool? Now, again, try to have this drawing, preferably with better squares than me. Write Pythagorean theorem and have this written down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All right? We are now going to use that information to solve some problems. Ready? Let me show you how to do that. Here's our first one. The area of the small square plus the area of the medium square equals the area of the largest square. To get the area of each square, it is a side length to the second power. Now, don't worry about that part right now, but just look at this. Okay, look at the first one here. Smallest square, the area is 8. Now, how do I know that's an area and not the side length? Do you know? I look at that number. I know that is the area. How do you know? It's because of the label. If it says meters squared, if it says squared, that's talking about the area. If it just said 8 meters, that's referring to the length because the length is in meters, the area is in meters squared. Okay, so the smallest side, the area is 8 meters. The medium side is 12. So what must the area of the largest square be? Well, it should be 20. Cool? All right, you do the second one. Are you doing it? Did you finish it? Well, if this is 9, and that's small square, this one's 34, medium square. 9 plus 34, add those up, you get 43 is the area of this square. Okay? Now, what are the side lengths? We'll worry about that in just a second. But I just need you to understand that you take the area of the squares and the two smallest squares and add them up. They will always add to the biggest square. Cool? All right, let's practice another problem here. So now we're going to find the length of the hypotenuse, which is the longest side of a triangle, in each of these triangles. Round your decimals to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so here is where you need your calculator. If you have your scientific calculator, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a fancy one. This is just all I got here, okay? And let's work it out. Now, please look at the first triangle here. I'm going to do the first one with you. Then you're going to try the second one on your own and the third one on your own, okay? Look at the first one. This is number 1 right over here. Now, 3. What does the 3 refer to? Well, it refers to the side. Why? Because it's not talking about something squared. Now, it doesn't have a unit. I don't like that. It should always have a unit. And if it doesn't have a unit, it should say unit. So it's 3 units. It's not 3 units squared, just 3 units. So if that side is 3 and I make a square, what's the area of that square, horrible square, going to be 9. So 9 units, okay, squared. Yikes. Next, this 6 is also referring to the side length. So if I squared that, I would get 36 units squared. Okay. Now, how do I find the other side here? Well, 9 plus 36 is 45 units squared. Awesome. Now, I am not done. In fact, what I should have is this. Write this down. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 3. And I had 3 squared. Plus b was 6 squared, equals c squared. 3 squared is 9. 6 squared is 36, equals c squared. And 9 plus 36 is 45, equals c squared. Now, at this point, some of you are wondering, well, then what? What am I supposed to do at this point? Well, that's why we paused in between these two lessons and discussed the square root. To undo something squared, you square root both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. So c squared, the square root of c squared, cancels that out. Because look at this. 2 squared, the square root of 2 squared, well, what's 2 squared? 4. And the square root of 4? 2. So the square root, and let's try with a weirder number, 3 squared. Okay, 3 squared is 9. Square root of 9, 3. So these cancel out. Okay, so then you do the square root of 45. Now, on your calculator, we've talked about how to find the square root, so please find the square root of 45. The square root of 45 is 6 and 7. Well, what would it round to? Nearest hundredth be 6 and 71 hundredths. So my answer, 6 and 71 hundredths units equals C. Cool? This, I do expect to see this. This, to me, is more important than this drawing with the square. Both are helpful, but if I had to see something, I would prefer to see this work down here than this work up here. You must include a squared plus b squared equals c squared in your work to get full credit for it. And just in general, I don't want any of this, but I did it in my head. No, do it on paper, please, okay? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I now want you to try this one, okay? This one. So if you would, please pause the video, draw the shape on your paper, draw it on your paper, and triangle doesn't have to be perfect. You can do the squares if you want to, but I do want to see a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then all the work associated with it. When you're done, unpause it, and we'll check it. Okay, here we go. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I don't care. Let's go with A. Let's do it differently. A is 12 squared. Now, if you picked 5, that doesn't matter. 5 squared, because we're still doing the same thing, equals C squared. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25, equals C squared. 144 plus 25 is 169, equals C squared. And if you remember these numbers, then to get the C alone, I square root. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. And then this 169 should look pretty familiar because the square root of 169 is 13. So C, that side there, is 13. Got it? Did you get it right? I hope so. Okay, now try this last one. Be careful with this last one here, okay? Again, please make sure you show your work. Have all your work written down. Got it? Go. Pause it, and then when you're done, unpause it. Okay, here we go. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Some fun big numbers here, weren't they? So 30 squared plus 24 squared equals c squared. Now, 30 squared, that's 900, isn't it? 30 squared, 900. 24 squared, I have no idea. 24 squared is 576. Equals c squared, and 900 plus 576 equals 1476 equals c squared. Now I find the square root on both sides. And c equals the square root of 1,476, which is, what do you have? What'd you put? Should have put 38 and 42 hundredths, because again, that's the answer. Whoop. And you want to round that to the nearest hundredth, which is the 1. It would go up because the number after it is bigger than 5. So 38 and 42 hundredths, and inch, right here, it'd be inches, okay? I'm running out of room to put that in there. So inches. All right. Makes sense? Okay. 3 more problems and we're done here, okay? So this is it. Find the hypotenuse given the length of the following triangles. Round your answers to the nearest hundredth. So 5, 10, question mark. Okay, well, again, I'm going to do this one with you. You do the next one on your own. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 5 plus 10 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 10 squared is 100. I get 125 equals c squared. I find the square root on both sides. The square root of 125, can you beat me to it? I don't know the square root of 125. Round it the nearest hundredth. Did you get it? Did you do it? Do these, okay? You get 11.18. 11 and 18 hundredths equals c. Oh, so 11 and 18 hundredths inches would be the answer. Cool. All right, do B and C. Beat me to it. Actually, well, go ahead and do it. Pause it. When you're done, you can unpause it and check it. I'm going to go ahead and do the work. See if you can beat me to it, okay? Ooh, 81 plus 144. 145. Let me make sure I get that right. Yeah. Okay, 225 equals c squared. Ooh, I recognize that number. Square root on both sides. The square root of 225 is 15. So the answer is 15 feet. And the last one here. Ooh, nice, easy, pretty numbers, huh? Okay, let's get some space to work with. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 8 and 2/10 squared plus 12 and 6/10 squared equals c squared. 8 and 2/10 squared is 67 and 24 hundredths plus 12 and 6/10 squared is 158 and 76 hundredths equals c squared. Add those two up and you get, nice easy numbers. 226 equals c squared. Now again, I need to solve that by finding the square root on both sides. So I do a square root here, and the square root of 226 is 15 and 3/10 is c. And it would be centimeters, okay? Because up here we're talking about centimeters. All right, so pretty straightforward. Hopefully that makes sense. Try the homework. The homework is a worksheet. You can print that out. Do the problems on there. Try it out. Tomorrow I will give you the answers and we can check. And tomorrow we're going to try again. We're going to take 3 days doing some Pythagorean theorem practice. So today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, reviewing that material. Got it? All right. Have a great day, guys. And again, Riley and, Jacob. Riley and Jacob. Yeah. Happy late birthday. Hope you enjoyed your birthday yesterday. Okay. All right. See you guys.